Rock and Stone Miners, I'm your host, Get Good Fox, and welcome to the Deep Dive and Elite Deep Dive walkthrough guide. This is specifically for the May 25th Deep Dives. Now, I've already been through both of them, and so what I'm going to do is show you how I got through it, and I will guide you through some of the various pitfalls you may encounter. We'll start with a deep dive, then go into the deep dive, and then conclude with my Dwarf class recommendations at the end. If you'd like to catch me playing this live, where you can see my first experience, check me out on Twitch at Get Good Fox on Thursdays. Let's go ahead and get started with the deep dive. And our deep dive is going to occur within the crystalline caverns. I did not see any lightning crystals in my experience, so that is a plus. That said, keep in mind that the crystalline caverns, the stone takes 3 strokes of the pick to remove, so having either a driller or the Rocky Mountain beer could help out a lot there. Mission 1 has a difficulty of Hazard 3. You're going to be killing 2 dreadnoughts, a hive guard and a standard glyphid dreadnought. You'll also be repairing 2 mini mules. You will not have to fully recover a drop pod in the process. There is a mutator in effect, which is Swarmageddon. This means you will be constantly attacked by little squads, well, big squads of swarmers, I should say, and they will attack you even during the boss fights, which can be quite annoying. So as far as tips go, I would say the main thing is that this deep dive has a lot of bosses to fight, so bring anti-boss loadouts and you're gonna have a much better time. Remember that repairing the mini mules will give you some extra nitro, so you might have more ammo than you think you do. And also, once again, I want to reiterate that the swarmers from the Swarmageddon will attack you even during the boss fights. Now, in order to make the boss fights easier, the way to do it is have one of the dwarves bring a weapon that slows the boss down, and then the rest of the dwarves beat the crap out of it while it's slow. Some quick examples include the corrosive sludge pump when combined with a Collet wave cooker that has the contagion transmitter upgrade that will super slow down the boss. Another option is the shard diffractor with the dazzler module. None of those are overclocks. Those are standard upgrades on the weapon. So you just use that, it'll slow the boss down, and because the boss is so slow, an easy target for the other dwarves to just pound the daylights out of it. On to Mission 2, though. Difficulty goes up to Hazard 3.5. Your objectives will be to collect 4 alien eggs. One of them will cause a swarm to attack. You also have to kill another dreadnought boss. It'll be the twins this time, and you've got a mutator in effect. It is Haunted Cave, and this is the main complication of this mission. Haunted Cave causes an immortal ghost bulk detonator to chase you around for the entire mission. It cannot be killed, though it is affected by slowdown effects such as stepping into slime or being shocked with lightning. It is super deadly, though, and it will be chasing you once again throughout the entire experience. So the way I would personally do this is have one player sort of monitor the cave horror, and the other player goes out and completes the objectives, goes out and get the eggs and whatnot. And the reason for this is because that allows you to kind of separate from one another, and that means that whenever the ghost bulk detonator, the cave horror, decides to switch targets, well, now he has to travel a really far distance, and then when he'll inevitably turn back around to chase the monitoring player, you kind of can keep the boss in a way where it doesn't really play a big role. I do recommend fighting the boss in the starting area, and that's because the starting area is a nice little, like, donut-shaped room. It's perfect for just running around in a circle so that you can evade both the cave horror and the twins. Speaking of the twins, they're kind of on the fragile side, so my main tip here is to just damage the twins equally, because when they heal, their rule for healing is that the more damaged one heals until it catches up to the higher health one. So if you kill them equally, then their healing catch-up will be neutralized, and you'll be able to kill them a lot faster. And that brings us to the final mission for the standard deep dive, Mission 3. Difficulty stays at Hazard 3.5. Your objectives will be to collect 200 Morkite and repair 2 mini mules, and overall, this is a very no-nonsense, fairly peaceful mission, to be honest. The cave is kind of a mid-length, so you may need to go some distances to get all 200 Morkite, but honestly, I don't have anything really to say about this mission. It was peaceful, it wasn't hard, use all of your ammo because there is no Mission 4, and yeah, let's move on to Elite Deep Dive. Okay, so the Elite Deep Dive, this is going to occur in the sand-blasted corridors. I think that's more of a good thing than a bad thing. Yes, there's the sandstorms and the trawlers to deal with, but in return, you only have to use one pickaxe stroke to remove either the sand or the dirt, and I think that's amazing. Mission 1 has a difficulty of hazard 4.5. You're going to be salvaging 3 mini mules, and in this case, you will have to go through the full salvage operation, the full drop pod recovery process. You'll also need to collect 150 Morkite, but there is a mutator in effect. It is Swarmageddon. So once again, dealing with another Swarmageddon. So throughout the whole experience, including during the defense, you will be attacked by these big squads of swarmers, which can be quite annoying. My main tip here is that there is a ton, an absolute ton of Nitra. I had almost 400 Nitra at one point in time, so grab as much Nitra as you can. You really need it for the third mission. So I would say shoot for at least 300 to 350 Nitra. A lot of it will come in the form of loot bugs. There's also a lot of pre-spawned enemies that are already there. That's going to include things like spitball infectors and a brood nexus. So as you advance, watch for bombardment from spitball infectors. It can also mean that you can run into some unusually big waves, because you might get a wave of enemies and then you might go over to one of the mini mules, which will trigger another wave, and the waves can combine together. So be careful. Sometimes you can get hit by a surprisingly large wave. During the drop pod defense sequence, remember, you can call in the ammo, but call in the ammo near the objective you're defending so that you can reload without exiting the capture field. Overall, I found resistance to be a little bit light. I don't know if that was a bit anomalous, but it wasn't very hard. Don't take my word for it, though. I would be on full guard, and remember to use your defensive tools. I'm talking about lures, turrets, proximity mines, pheromone grenades, and shield generators. Especially use the shield generators to protect your allies while they reload so they can reload in peace. And keep in mind, the swarmers will continue to attack even during the defense. On to mission 2, difficulties up to hazard 5. You're going to be taking out 2 dreadnoughts. It'll be the Hive Guard and the Twins. You'll also need to repair 2 mini mules. No need to go through the drop pod defense here, though. There is a mutator effect. It is elite threat. This means that some enemies will be considered elite. You could tell them easily because they're big and they're glowing with red energy. They can be quite dangerous, especially if they are either a slasher, a spitter, or a menace. You definitely want to find them and kill them as quickly as possible. Overall, though, you should have a lot of ammo. You'll probably have to expend 2 drop pods in the process, though, in order to knock out both of the bosses. That should be fine, though, because like I said, you should have a ton of ammo. Grab all the ammo along the way, though, because you are going to need it in the third mission. Do not skip the ammo, because the last mission is actually a point extraction, so you're going to need the ammo. So, tips for mission 2 is remember with the bosses, bring some characters who are good at killing bosses. Very easy way to kill boss. One guy brings in a weapon that slows the boss down, another guy gets behind him and blasts them. Weapons that slow people down, that's like a sludge pump and a Colette wave cooker with the contagion transmitter. That combo together slows them down a lot. Another one is the shard diffractor with the dazzler module. None of those are overclocks, just the basic upgrades on the gun. That'll slow the enemy down, then the other guys could just beat the crap out of them. It's really, really easy. Just keep in mind, the Hive Guard is very dangerous. When its health is vulnerable, it'll stomp and emit those crystal mines. They will one-shot you, so respect the crystals. And for the Twins, remember to try to kill them equally, because when they heal, the more wounded twin heals to catch up to the less wounded twin. So if their health is similar, they barely get any healing at all. Okay, time to finish strong. Mission 3 of the Elite Deep Dive. Difficulty is up to hazard 5.5. Objectives are to collect 10 quarks. That does mean you are in a point extraction. Remember, there is a technical time limit on a point extraction, because the longer you stay, the faster the bug attacks get, until they basically are unlimited. There will be bugs everywhere, and if you don't complete it in time, you will be overran. You will also need to take out one last boss before you can call it quits. It will be the Dreadnought Twins. Not a bad thing, though, because they are probably a bit more fragile than the other bosses. There's 2 mutators in effect, though. The first is regenerative bugs. This means that if an enemy goes undamaged for a while, they will begin to regenerate their health all the way back up to full if you allow them. On the other hand, there is volatile guts, and this is really big. Volatile guts causes most of the enemies to self-destruct when they die. It's not as bad as an exploder dying. They can harm the dwarves, though, but they are more of a threat to other bugs. They can cause chain reactions where other bugs die, and therefore they self-destruct, and you can wipe out entire groups of them. And in this mission, there are going to be bugs everywhere, so the volatile guts are going to be big. That's going to lead us to my first first big tip. Try to group the enemies together when possible so that you could just blow them all up. You could force them to group together by using things like pheromones. That will cause them all to converge on the pheromone target, or you can use something like a lure grenade that will converge around the lure, and then you can blast them all away. Now, when you first get started, there is a few things that you need to do that's really important. First off, you need to secure the drop site of the headquarters building known as the mine head. So get out. There will be pre-spawned enemies, so get out, clear them out, call in 1 or 2 of your ammo pods. Hopefully you've got like 3 or 4 ammo pods available to you. After you secure the area, though, you need to knock out the boss ASAP. Remember that the game doesn't care if you're fighting a boss. If they want to spawn swarms, they're going to do it. So kill the boss early in the battle so that there are as few swarms as possible. If you fight them later on when they're just chain spawning swarms, it's not going to be pretty. So secure the area, knock out the boss. After that, you just need to beeline it to the Quarks. The best way to do this is to abuse all of your extra ammo. There's no mission 4. Call in those ammo pods. If you're a gunner, fire out some zip lines, get an ammo pack. Find more Quarks, shoot zip lines, grab an ammo pack. I don't care if you are overcapping your ammo, just get those zip lines out. Do whatever you can to just make sure you are getting those Quarks. I don't recommend lone wolfing it though, because the enemy attacks will be so frequent that you will waste a lot of time reviving each other. I recommend at least going in pairs, or honestly all 4 of you can go together as one squad and just get the Quarks. One guy mines them, another guy is watching, and then a third guy carries them back to the mine head. Do that and you should be able to get the Quarks pretty quickly. Just don't lone wolf it, work together, use the ammo packs to abuse your zip lines and your platform gun, and you should be able to do this within 2 to 3 swarms. Do that and it will be all yours. Okay, though, time to wrap things up with my MVP Dwarf conclusion. So, starting with the deep dive, the MVPs here I'm going to name as the Driller and the Scout. The Driller has the great slow-down weapons on the bosses, and then the Scout can get behind the boss easily and waste them. The other reason why the Driller and the Scout's going to be great is because the Driller can slow down the cave horror, and the Scout is able to rapidly go around the map and find all of the eggs. This kind of combination is going to give you basically everything you need to knock out this deep dive, assuming you've got the weapons unlocked to do it. Now, for the Elite Deep Dive, I'm going to give it to the Engineer and the Gunner as my MVP dwarves. The Engineer, it basically was made for this mission. You've got to defend the drop pod. Well, what do you know? The Engineer's great at defending with all his turrets and other gadgets like the lure or the proximity mines. You've got the Shard Diffractor with the Dazzler module. Once again, not an overclock, just a normal upgrade. Amazing against the bosses. It does damage through their armor and it slows them down, meaning the other dwarves can surround it and just beat the crap out of the boss. And when you got to go deal with the Quarks, you can shoot the platforms up there so that other people can get the Quarks very easily. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So then you can also bring your Gunner. You could also go with the Scout, but the Gunner, pretty good everyday choice. Going to be great on the defense because your weapon doesn't run out of ammo. You don't have to reload it too frequently. You've got the absolutely game-saving shield generator. If somebody goes down, you could just throw a shield generator on them for a free revive. If somebody needs ammo and it's in the middle of the fight, just throw a shield generator right on the ammo pod and they'll be able to reload within peace without any interference. And when you've got to get the Quarks, you've got your zip line. Yes, you will run out of zip lines, but you should have a lot of extra ammo in the final mission. So shoot your zip lines, get an ammo pack, shoot zip lines, get an ammo pack, repeat that process, and it shouldn't be a problem at all acquiring all of those Quarks. You should be able to be walking home with all of the Matrix cores. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section if you've got any tips, especially for new players who may not have all of the cool overclocks available to them, what you would do to overcome these missions. Anyways, though, till next time, remember you can find me on Twitch doing the Deep Rock Galactic deep dives on Thursday at Get Good Fox, and of course, return here on Friday, where I will have the next deep dive strategy guide walkthrough ready for you. Till next time, though, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.